What is up, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I talked about the RS5. I love this car so much, and I've actually owned it over a year right now. So in this video, I'm just gonna talk about what was ownership like, and let's get into it. So first of all, I do have to say that I still really enjoy the way this car looks. I mean, every time I take it out for a drive, I always turn around and look back at it. I think that this package with the glacier white metallic color and the black optics package with these black wheels, which are actually the most common question about this car, are these wheels. Whether it's on YouTube or Instagram, people asking me for part numbers. I don't know the part number, but what I do know is that on the configurator, they're called the 5-segment spoke Evo style 20/9J wheel. Yeah, if you know what they look like and just screenshot it, take that to your dealer, and I'm sure they'll be able to find out the part number for you and figure out how you can get these wheels. Although I'm pretty sure they're going to be overpriced if you don't get them from factory on your car. Now, full disclaimer, I didn't actually spec this car myself. This was spec'd by Audi here in Bahrain, and they brought it into the showroom and they were waiting for the lucky guy or gal to buy it. Now, I went there during the holy month of Ramadan, and that's where they usually have great deals on any cars in all the showrooms and stuff. So I did get a better deal, better price than sticker over here. The only thing that I don't like about how they spec this car are the side mirrors. So if you don't spec them at all, they're this sort of like matte gray. And that normally might look good on some, with some colors, but here it just kind of sticks out to me. So I'm thinking about getting covers for that. It's not going to be too expensive, but just so you know, when you're specing this car, you need to spec your mirrors apart from the black optics package. I actually really like this. I think I like it more than the carbon fiber trim that comes with the car. I don't think it's really worth it. It's quite expensive, so I don't really mind having that. I think in this color combination specifically, it looks really good with the black and white. Now, the reason why I went for an RS5 Sportback is because I need the back seats. But then you could say, why not just go for the RS4 or the Avant? And I think it just looks the best out of the lot, to be honest. I do like the RS5 styling, but I need the 4 doors. So this was kind of the best combination for me as well. Like, the boot is massive and I can fit a lot of things in there quite easily thanks to how it opens like a hatchback. I mean, it's practical, but it's not like SUV practical. Still, you need to bend your knees to put your child in there. That's not a problem for me, but for some people it could be. I love this baby seat. I got it from Audi. I actually asked them because I wanted to buy it from them, but it took it so long to get to Bahrain that when it finally got here, they just gave it to me for free. So thank you so much for that. It's got like red stitching with like the black fabric, kind of like mimicking the interior of the car. And my daughter wanted to feel like everyone else, so she didn't want to feel left out. So that's a really cool thing. Although I'm not very happy about what she does with that seat. This car also has the laser lights. Now, to tell you how much better these are than a normal set of headlamps, I'm not really sure, but I do know that Audi will be discontinuing laser lights as well as BMW because they can't get them registered in the US, and now Matrix LED is the thing. So this is Matrix LED and laser. The laser is overkill apparently, so don't be worried if you don't get the laser thing. The only cool thing that comes with it is that this strip here lights up in blue, and that's it. Just put some blue LEDs somewhere there and you have the same effect. When it comes to mods, I haven't really done anything with this car. I've been waiting for something to go wrong, to use the warranty, to then, be sure that everything is right. And actually, just a second ago, I received a call that 2 parts are here for this car, and I think they're pretty exciting mods that we're gonna have on the channel soon. So subscribe if you want to see those later. But so far, the only thing I've done is PPF. So I PPF the entire car inside and out. I'll show you the inside and why I did that. But when it hits me in the door, it usually helps with that. So far, there's a little bit of dust, as you can see, coming up underneath it in certain places down here. Just dust underneath, so I'm gonna have to clean that out. But I'll show you how important it is inside the car. Well, first of all, you have all these carbon fiber bits. Not all cars have that, but if you have carbon fiber, you can protect that from being scratched, or that clear coat from being scratched. But most importantly, you have all of these gloss black accents, and this is what gets scratched up very easily. I've been reviewing cars for a couple of years now, and every single time I get a car that has gloss black or piano black, whatever you want to call it, it always is scratched up, and it just looks nasty. Now, if you PPF this, it's not gonna get scratched up. It's gonna look brand new all the time. If you have OCD, that's fine. If you don't really care, that's also fine. But another benefit is that if you put it on your touchscreen, where when I first got the car, it really like caught fingerprints. There's fingerprints all over it. But now, after it's PPF, there's no fingerprints on it at all. They're like, I can't even try and get the reflection to show you that because it just isn't there. So, really cool thing. Helps out a lot. You don't have to PPF the whole car, maybe a couple of bits that are important to you. Also, everything shines a lot more, so if you like that gloss look, looks pretty good. Yeah, and while we're here, the MMI, I mean, this has been one of the best systems I've owned. I mean, it's so easy to manipulate and to go through, and I like, you know, these big buttons. I know it might sound like I'm old, but it's just easy to click through things when you're driving and on the move if you need something. But for the most part, you know, Android Auto, connect to it, you're good to go. No complaints there. And even though I did complain about this at the beginning because it's kind of like stuck on and everything, the best part about it is that it's right here and not down there. So when you're driving, you kind of have it in your peripheral vision, so you just move your eyes like this. You don't have to move your head down low to find something, and that is quite safe. So I kind of understand why manufacturers wanted to put this here, and it's also placed so well that it doesn't obstruct the window. I also like that I have these physical buttons here instead of like the screens that the RS6, RS7, I think the Q8, the Q7, and it looks really cool. But they're not as easy to use, I guess, as this, because it's just literal click. Oh, that's always sounds really good, those clicks that Audis make. But yeah, it's just a very intuitive system to use and much easier to use while driving quickly, and you don't need to take your hands off your eyes off the road. You can kind of like feel your way around to it. I mean, in general, overall, the quality is great. I don't have that many issues, but there are some, and I'm going to talk about them right now. So first of all, this is probably whoever spec'd this car's fault. It's the Alcantara steering wheel. Approaching 10,000 kilometers, and it's starting to give right here on the top and on the sides where you would, you know, normally hold the steering wheel. It's still okay. It's still better than the RS3 I had. That was almost done at like, I don't know, 6,000 kilometers. And, you know, I hold the shifter most of the time. It's just deteriorated at a much faster rate than the rest of the car, and it really kind of stands out because of that. Another thing that is very annoying in the interior is this seat belt on the side. So what happens sometimes is that this piece moves down, and then when you're driving, it bangs against the B pillar like that. So you know, either have to raise this up or do something, or just put the seat belt into the buckle, because it just gets so annoying. And you got some hard plastics here which are kind of like out of the way, right? But they're still there, and this likes to hit on them, so not too great. I've had issues with this front speaker. I do have the Bang & Olufsen sound system that comes with these lights of their own that a lot of people don't really like. If you use OBD11, you can switch those off. I don't mind them that much. It just gives a little bit more of a flair. And now I think this one down here is starting to rattle, but that could be, no, there's not that much in there. So no, it's just starting to rattle and be annoying. And honestly, I can't be fucked to go and get that fixed at this point, because I've been to the service center more times than I would have wanted. Obviously, I've been in for a service. Then there was a recall to the rear subframe. There was some bolts that had to be changed because they were rusting apparently. And there was another recall where I had to get the rear alignment done because it was, I think it was bad from the factory, and apparently they're supposed to even change your tires because it's their fault if they wear down too much. Apart from that, I've also had some other interior issues, like this side card over here, this side piece like right on the top, that was squeaking right from the showroom. So you know, I just put my arm here from time to time just to get a little bit more comfortable, and I could just hear it squeak every single time. It was just like it didn't have enough padding in it. So I went again to the Audi service center, and they apparently have this tape they get from Audi, and they're able to put that in and make sure that there's no movement or flex, and now that is gone. And yeah, and then when I went to get the rear alignment done, the guys were like, well, we'll do the front alignment for you, and then they messed up the front steering wheel, so to drive straight it's a little bit off center to the left, which I hate. Then I went there again, they did it again, and now it's a bit off center to the right. In Bahrain, they're the only place that actually have the files to do the alignment, so right now I'm just waiting for them, because apparently their machine needs alignment now, so the machine needs alignment, and it's what the I've been to the service more times than I would have wanted to. Now, apart from those things, which at the end of the day, they're minor, they're just inconvenient because you have to go there and you have to drive back, and I think for most of them I did get a courtesy car, so I was lucky enough for that. For the most part, I really do like the interior of the RS5. I feel like I received the same sort of, let's say, interior quality, just in a smaller package. And I enjoy the fact that I'm not reminded every day that I didn't get an RS6 or an RS7. And actually, at this moment in time, I don't want an RS6 and RS7 because they don't offer that much more of things that I need compared to this, which is high praise if you think about it. The key differences between the RS4, RS5, and the RS6 and RS7 is, one, these are lighter, and two, those cars have bigger engines. They got V8s, well, here you got a twin turbo V6. And honestly, I don't miss the RX6 or RS7. Even though it's just like 150, 60 kilos lighter than those cars, it feels much more nimble to drive. It's not as wide as they are, it's easier to plant on the road. And even though maybe those cars will give this a hard time on a track, on the road, this has so much more confidence. I'm really pushing the car right now. I can't tell you how fast I'm going. But we gotta talk about the mundane things. What it's like to own a car like this. Well, first of all, my fuel economy has been long-term memory. So since the beginning I've had it, on average, it's been 12.9 liters per 100 kilometers, which is pretty good considering how much performance you get. But I suspect it could be higher for other people just because I mostly drive highway. And today I've been driving mostly highway and it's 10.9. So as soon as you get into a little bit of traffic, it rises up. I use this car daily, and on a full tank I'll get 600 kilometers of range, which is really good for me. I live on a small island, so there's not really that many far places to go. And this car has proven to be the best daily I've ever owned. I've owned everything from Maseratis, Alfa Romeos, obviously those aren't going to be great, but there you go. Dodge, Renault, BMW. I've owned a lot of cars, and this has, for some reason, kept me from going elsewhere. I don't know, it just has this perfect mixture of a car that I want to get in every day, and I can do miles in it and not worry about my back, not worry about the noise, my head. I got a great stereo system, even though the Bang & Olufsen had quite a bit of problems when I first got it. Right now, when I get into another car I review, oh, that's a Bose sound system, oh, that's a Harman Kardon, I always feel like, well, that song sounded better in my car. So if you're on the fence of, you know, can I live with this car every day? Of course you can. You know, you got the all-wheel drive Quattro system, so we don't get any sort of bad weather over here. But if you do, this is the system to have. I mean, you can't, BMW X-Drive or Mercedes, I mean, they don't even come close. These seats are lovely. You got a lot of support from them. Not as much as maybe from a BMW, but they're so comfortable. They got that perfect balance between comfort and sportiness. The problem I have with these seats is that if you get the Napa seats, you get the sport seats, you can't get ventilated seats. Apparently it's not that great of an option, but still you can't get them, and you can only get heated seats, which is useless over here. Thankfully, the dealer did not put heated seats in this car because that would just make it more expensive for no reason at all. Steering is not that great, to be honest. BMW has better steering. I think Mercedes is even catching up. But it is precise. So once you get used to it, you know how to plant the car. Let's go into RS mode. I've set RS2 to everything on full attack. And this engine. Say what you want about this car. Maybe on paper, it's slower than a BMW or a Mercedes. But when you get into this car, you're an absolute hero. I can tell you that people with the same skill level, you put them in a Mercedes, a BMW, and Audi, the Audi will win on a twisty road, hands down. There's no way those guys would be able to catch up because they'd crash. They'd rear end and crash somewhere. Yes, they'd probably be having a bit more fun if you like to get tail happy and not die. But they would not be able to catch up with this thing. No way. It's sick. 8-speed gearbox, ZF, fantastic. You don't need a dual clutch transmission in this. It is so quick. I swear to God, you don't need it. All it would do is add more weight and this car would be heavier. That's it. However, you don't have a proper launch control. It's a brake boosted system. So you basically left foot on the brake, add throttle, but it doesn't cut the power to the wheels like it would in some cars that have launch control. You feel the car moving. So you might have to hold the brake really hard for that to happen. And then you build the boost and you're off. And the brakes squeak as well. I'm not sure if you can hear that. Probably not. But it is quite loud outside and it's quite annoying, and they always squeak as you're approaching a stoplight. So it's the worst time when you're arriving in your nice German sports car and it just sounds like the train's arriving. And the last thing I want to talk about is the suspension in this car. It just feels like it's been set up wrong. The dampening is wrong. And I would understand if all the other RS cars were very firm, but they're not. And they even have bigger wheels and smaller profile tires, and still they're not as bumpy as this. And what's interesting is that the faster you go, it doesn't alleviate that. You still get those bumps. Have you ever been in a car with adaptive suspension and when you put it on the hardest setting and you know it's just kind of there to make people happy because you never use it because the whole thing is just, you know, jittering and bouncing. It just doesn't feel nice to drive. It feels like the car isn't planted very well. It's kind of how this thing feels. Now, I know I've said that it's a perfect daily and it's a great daily, and a part of being a great daily is to be comfortable. And it is comfortable. It's not stiff. It's just bumpy. I'm gonna fix that soon. I've already ordered a new suspension kit for this car, and I'm gonna test it out, see if that works. Should do. I hope so. And I'll let you guys know in another video. Until then, hit that like button. Helps out the channel. Comment what you think about the RS5. Do you own one? Am I right? Did I miss something? I'm sure I missed something. I always miss something. I always forget something. I'll probably put it in the comments below. And yeah, subscribe so you check out the new mods coming to the RS5 soon. Thank you for watching. Take care.